What's going on, my dudes? I don't know. I think that might suffice as an intro. Hello. So the Daytona 500 was yesterday after a rain postponement on Sunday. I was a little angry because I was wanting to watch it on Sunday, but I'm glad we postponed it. At least it was until the last lap. But a lot of really good racing happened. Me and my buddy called Ryan Stenhouse taking somebody out. Fucking took out William Byron because he just for some reason he was trying to bump draft and then decided he wanted to pass as he was making contact with Byron and just sent Byron into the fucking inside wall. Like, why the fuck would you do that? Byron has had an amazing car the entire Daytona, like, 2 weeks. Like, he won a fucking duel, bro. Like, don't fucking do anything to him that's gonna fuck him up, especially because you both driving Chevys. Why would you try to bump draft him, then try to pass him in the last second, or whatever the fuck you did? Like, I'm just really upset with Stenhouse right now, because I had Byron on my fantasy team, and he fucked it up for me. Anyway, and I like Byron, you know, whatever. Okay, after that, another thing I want to talk about is one of the big crashes caused by Joey Logano, okay? Joey's running like 6th or 7th, whatever. He's right behind Eric Almirola, who's in the 10 car. And he's right behind Brad Keselowski, which, if you recall, he and Logano aren't really getting along very well. Now, Logano decides it's a good idea to bump draft Eric Almirola into the back of Brad Keselowski, sending Brad Keselowski into the wall, because it is nearly fucking impossible to keep your car straight, being bump drafted, and then trying to adjust your car to bump draft the car in front of you that was also going about 200 miles an hour. So it's not Eric Almirola's fault that Brad Keselowski crashed and ruined his day, and he had a fantastic car. It's Joey Logano's fault. Again, Joey Logano crashes his teammate Brad Keselowski. What else is fucking new? Again, kind of goes back to my point in my last video where I think Brad's going to leave at the end of this season. Or Penske's just say, fuck you, Joey Logano, you're gone. One of those two things is going to happen. Anyway, all that happened. All the drama between teammates, that was cool. That was interesting. All the little wrecks here and there, all the battles was great. It was fantastic. It was a great race. And then the last lap happened. And I'm sure everyone knows it's been on the news, probably not as much as it should be, but it's one of the best finishes that we've ever had, one of the most competitive finishes we've ever had. And I mean, one of the best finishes is that it was like the second closest Daytona 500 finish ever between Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney, who Denny Hamlin has captured back-to-back Daytona 500 victories. The first to do that since like Sterling Martin in 04, I believe, when he won 03, 04. But that's the side story, because last lap, basically the last straightaway, shit hit the fan for Ryan Newman. The video's going to take a real dark turn, but Ryan Newman was in the lead, and he had a pretty sizable lead, but Blaney and Hamlin were able to bump draft each other and catch back up with him. And this all happened within like within a turn, alright, because these guys were fucking booking, alright. So Blaney and Hamlin are bump drafting. Blaney is in second place, which means Hamlin was bump drafting him, and Hamlin was in third. So Blaney decides he's going to try to go for the win. He's like, fuck it, I'm going for the win. And they get up to basically the final straightaway. And Blaney decides to try to make a move. He tries to fake a move to the outside, which Newman blocked, which was good. And then Blaney moved to the inside, which Newman blocked again. Blaney says, well, fuck, I'm not going to be able to make the pass now because he's blocked me. And I'm not going to be able to get around him without just losing to Hamlin. So Blaney smartly made the smart move and said, you know what, Ford is going to win this race. I'm not going to let another Toyota win, okay? So Blaney decides he's just going to bump draft Newman to the win. He tries to do that, but Newman is still moving. Newman is not like stable and going straight. So when Blaney stops turning his wheel and decides to try to bump draft Newman to the win and get Ford the victory, Newman is still moving, and he gets a little unstable. Just unstable enough that Newman loses control and overcorrects and steers himself into the outside wall. This was a massive fucking impact. So massive that Newman goes fucking airborne. Like, he does like half of a flip in the air. I say half of a flip because the next car coming up behind him was Corey LaJoie. And I feel so fucking bad for him because there was nothing he could have fucking done. Blaney does like this half corkscrew, and his driver's side is now facing the oncoming traffic. Corey LaJoie, the only thing he sees is just smoke. Like, there is no way he could have avoided this. And smacks straight on into the driver's side roll cage of Newman's car. And it changed the mood just like that. As soon as LaJoie made contact with Newman, you could just hear the fans just like, everyone was just shocked, and they were scared shitless, because 20 years ago, Dale Earnhardt had a crash that wasn't even close to this brutal, but Dale Earnhardt died on the last lap of the Daytona 500 in 2001. And people just had a lot of flashbacks to that moment, and this crash looked so much worse than Dale's crash. But thankfully, Newman is okay. He does have some serious injuries, but none of which are life-threatening, which is amazing. Like, I've always kind of low-key been a fan of Newman, but I've been a critic of him. It's because I feel like he could do better. If he was on a better team, he could compete for the cup. But it is what it is. But when he made contact with LaJoie, I knew something was wrong. He slid probably, oh God, I'd say over an entire football field on his fucking roof, and the gas was leaking, and part of his car was on fire, and it got real fucking dangerous real quick. Luckily, the paramedics were able to get to him before his car literally went up in fucking flames. But he is okay. I hope he doesn't have any permanent damage from this, and I hope he's able to come back racing, but not this year. I honestly think he should just say, you know what, I'm done with this year, I'm going to take this year off. I hope we see Ryan Newman in a car again. I hope, because he's a very good driver, and he's a very likable driver. He's a lovable underdog, you know, he does what he can to win, but it's just fucking scary to see that kind of shit. And Denny Hamlin, it looked kind of bad for a second, because Danny and his team were all celebrating, but they had no idea the severity of the situation until they got to victory lane, and it was just somber everywhere. But he is okay. I hope he makes a speedy recovery and a good recovery. My thoughts go out to him, and I hope he is able to get back in a race car.